everyone. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for, many of you, you all are familiar faces already to us. Thank you for coming to the meetings that we've had over the last 3 days. But I do want to take just a moment, because the reason that we're here is because of a lot of partnerships. But if it wasn't for the great talent and the collaboration of the Main Street Board to make all this happen and take care of us throughout these days, we wouldn't be here. So if the Main Street Board of Directors would please stand. Downtown Marceline and Michael. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Well, we're going to go through this pretty quick. I'm Gayla Roten, the State Director of Missouri Main Street. And we have a great team that's been working with you and is going to continue to work with you through this 18-month process of doing a community visioning. The difference between this community visioning and many that you have seen or been part of is that we're not going to go away. Several of you all have heard that today, but we're not going to go away. We are going to help you implement the steps that comes out of this visioning process tonight. So you're going to be asked a lot of questions, your opinion, your ideas. The one thing that I want you to remember is I want you to dream. Don't think about money right now. I want you all to dream, okay? That's the only stipulation. And never think that your idea is a bad idea, okay? All right, so part of the team we have is listed here, but we're gonna begin because we know some of you guys are gonna be leaving us early, so we want to make for sure we pack in as much as we can from the very beginning. So, without further ado, we're going to have Keith Winge come and talk about his point.
Good evening. I'm Keith Winge, and I'm with Missouri Main Street Connection. I started my 4th year, but have been doing Main Street development, helped start a Main Street program since 2006, and also come with 20 plus years of hotel and hospitality experience, tourism marketing, things related to that. So I'm going to talk about, so you're going to hear us talk about this 4-point approach, this comprehensive approach to Main Street. I'm going to talk about that first approach, which is organization, and that's the foundation of which everything grows out of. So within that point, we've got bringing the community together, building consensus, those volunteers, that volunteer base, investors and partners to make those things happen that we're going to dream up tonight and talk about. And then those resources for that revitalization effort. Basically getting people to work towards a common goal is the focus of that organization point. So here's just a visual way of what we're going to go through. I'm going to cover this one on the right. So first one is that communication. We need to communicate and tell the public about this effort. And so it's that PR component. It's talking about why downtowns are important, talking about why historic buildings are important, talking about what we do in the Main Street organization within the community that's important. And so that falls under that point, that communication point. The next thing are those people, those partnerships and those volunteers. We've got to get the community involved in this whole process. While Main Street is focused on downtown, it's a community organization, so it's bringing that community together. Business community, volunteers, other partners within the community, organizations, and even partners outside of the community, and we're going to help you with those steps. So the last thing is that public and private partnership. You'll hear us talk about Main Street being that relationship between the public side and the private side. So through this point, though, it's bringing those folks together to find those dollars for the community, both for that private investment through maybe some incentive programs, finding the right investors, but also on the public side, what dollars are out there for some infrastructure improvements, but also dollars for the organization and the effort. And so that's bringing that community component together from that aspect. So now I'm going to turn it over to economic vitality.
Thanks, Keith. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Jim Thompson. I come from Main Street, Iowa. I'm a state employee, so I'm from the government. I'm here to help. Oh, sorry. But we're going to do all things economic development. So as as we do this, we want to really build on economic development through historic preservation. You have a wonderful community. It is so inspiring to come here and see the great bones that you have. Now it's time for them to pay for themselves. And that's what we have to do through economic development. The cool thing about my role is I'd be hard-pressed for anybody to bring a community development issue that I haven't had to work on directly, because I was on the committee to bring Main Street to a town. I was on the city council for 10 years, so I worked through the government side of bringing Main Street to our town. So I was Michael in a town for a decade, and then joined our state staff to really concentrate on economic development. So that's why this is so, I can't tell you how passionate I am about doing what you all get to do now that I used to get to do at the local level also. So when Gayla talks about being a partner, I want to be there with you hand in hand also. Missouri Main Street Connection is one of the best, highest quality programs in the entire country. And we in Iowa are very proud to be a Midwest partner to work with them. You all have a wonderful state staff, so awesome. So what do? We make this sometimes a whole lot harder than it has to be. So we're really going to work on basic rules that make this simple, that we can work through to drive toward economic development. We do it in 3 ways. Assessment, what do you have? What do you need? Business development and real estate development, and that is it. That's how simple this is. So what are customers regularly driving out of town for that they'd really like to buy in Marceline? And are there things that businesses could add to their selection for a retention-based or expansion-based that will make more money for them on the bottom line? There's a disinvestment cycle that happens in lots and lots of towns. When building owners don't have money on the bottom line to be able to do the necessary improvements that buildings need, we fall into this disinvestment cycle. We know that we saw that in some buildings today, okay, while we've been here, and we've got to break that cycle, and our job is to try to figure out collectively how we can all work with you to break the cycle of disinvestment. And Michael, I threw this in just for you because I'm not trying to ever be a design person, but if there are things that you want in your town, you've got to have quality buildings to even consider attracting quality businesses. And I stuck my nose, didn't I? Daryl, Bob, you saw me. Stuck my nose in a lot of windows saying, you know what, it'd be great if this vacant building could be occupied. It can't be occupied in the condition that it is today. So what do we have to do? We can't recruit first. We've got to get quality space first. And then really documenting what are all those vacancy opportunities so that when someone walks into this community and says, where do I go to get information that's necessary for me to do that? We'll do it really quick. One place. So I wanted to show you, this is a building that happened in Woodbine, Iowa, population 1,500. The school had lost population, students, 10 straight years, okay? This building was 100% vacant. It was rehabbed through programs that we assisted them with. Now there are 6 apartments on the upper story, 1 apartment on the back that's handicap accessible, all secured parking, a restaurant in the front, and a fitness center in the back. 100% occupied. This can happen even in the smallest of small towns. And we need to make this happen here. You're a heck of a lot bigger than this. And a lot more going on. Bridgette.
My name is Bridgette Kelch. I work for Downtown Washington Incorporated right here in Missouri. So I do what Michael is doing for you. I do this in Washington, and I've been doing it for about 17 years. And I love historic preservation. I love downtowns, and I love promotions. And so I'm going to talk to you about some promotions here. So what are promotions? Well, it says here we work with the partners in the community to position the downtown as a center of community activity. That's fair enough. That is, you can assign that to Marceline. Promoting a positive image, community activity, and marketing its unique assets. Also, promoting a positive image of downtown through special events and good media relations. So basically the promotions area is all about having a good time and letting people know where the good time is happening. So we kind of saw this a little bit before, with Jim, but we have the cycle of investment. So you have approved image, you have more customers, you have higher profits, then we can invest in our business and properties more, and again, there goes our image getting better. And so this is either a fabulous cycle to be in, or if you're not in the right part of the cycle, it can go the other way. So this is what we're going to hope and teach you how to work on. So a couple of areas that we focus on in promotions. The first one, there's 3 different kinds. The first one is a retail promotion. This promotion is designed to specifically make the registers ring in your stores. That's it. It's all designed to make the register ring and create sales tax for the community. So we have Downtown Dollars or Downtown Gift Certificates is a great program in Washington, Missouri. We sell $65,000 a year in downtown gift certificates. That means that money stays with Downtown Washington. It's spent at our stores. The other really cool thing about these things is that you're not one-stop shopping. So you're not sending somebody just to Walgreens or Target when you buy those kind of gift cards. They get to pick over 65 places to use my downtown gift card. They can buy gas with it, they can buy gifts with it, they can do all kinds of crazy things with it. The other thing, Small Business Saturday, I know you guys have been participating in that, but that is completely designed to have money spent in small businesses on that specific day. The second kind of a promotion that we'll focus on is special events. You guys have a lot of great special events already, and so we're hoping to help you build on those and add a few new ones. But just kind of some fun ones from around the country. We have the Duct Tape Festival. Everything duct tape, clothing, art. As you can see, they have remade the love sign into duck. So this is in Avon, Ohio, where they actually produce duct tape. Yeah, that's why they went there. Yeah. So it's about, what you have in your community and what you can promote. There's the sky's the limit. Of course, we have in West Virginia the Hatfield and McCoy Festival. There we have image. The last part of promotion is putting the image out there for the community. We have Discover the District there. This is a postcard that they use. A whole image campaign laid out to discover the district, discover yourself. And so you have a great group of people there having fun, having a few drinks over cocktail hour. So it's putting that out there. A little bit of an older ad here at Franklin, Virginia. But this one I think really kind of resonates with me and Marceline. The owner is home. So where else are you going to find a business where the owner is probably the person smiling at you and serving you pancakes? That's what it's about, is customer service and promoting that, reminding people that, when you make that big decision to go buy an engagement ring, you have Albert to help you. It's not just some random salesperson, reminding people that you have that. And of course, image is about graphics and looks and being aesthetically pleasing. That is a banner, set of banners that we have in my hometown, and we actually utilize that all across everything. Our advertising, the banners you see downtown, it's on our website, it's our color scheme. So when you start to see these things around Washington, it's pointing towards the downtown district. So why do we do these things? We're doing all these fun promotions because we're bringing people into downtown. We're kind of tricking them in a way. So we want people to know about the history, to know about businesses, but we can do it in a fun way. Instead of saying, on this site in 1888, XYZ happened, what you can do is you can kind of trick them into it. Learning about your community with contests and giveaways, kind of like, where is this at? A fun social media contest, take a picture and have everybody participate and say, where are their dog footprints on a sidewalk in downtown Marceline? I know, they're on the, the side of Ripley Park. Just getting people excited and participating. Adult beverages always work, but you guys know that with the wine walk. With ghosts. We have a ghost tour. We don't actually know if we have a whole lot of ghosts, but we're talking about real people that actually did pass away maybe in these locations. And you know, while we're out giving these ghost tours, I'm like, oh, by the way, did you know that this place is open and available for lease with 1,200 square feet? It would be wonderful to have a bakery there. When all the people are there is listening about, all they want to hear is ghost stories. So you're tricking them, you're pulling them in a very fun way. Indulging their appetites. This is a picture that my board saw of a Kentucky town. We totally ripped it off and duplicated. We had a beautiful farmer's market dinner right in the middle of our main street. We didn't have the original idea. Multiple people have done it. You can intrigue their nosy nature. Why do you go on house tours? Because you want to see everybody else's stuff. I mean, I go on Christmas tours because I'm like, Betty Jo, her tree, mine was so much better. But hidden places, secret spaces. This is downtown Jefferson City, Missouri. They didn't even clean up. It was dusty and dirty. I saw a dead pigeon. But I was excited. I saw that space, and you know, somebody afterwards contacted a building owner there and said, I want to live up there. They renovated the space. So you're doing fun things like this, but you're getting other benefits out of it. Evoking childhood memories. Where do you see Santa? Downtown. So this is kind of really the fun stuff. So if you like food, drink, being nosy, planning parties, Promotions is the place that you need to be.
Thank you, Bridgette. But as everyone knows, design is the most fun and enjoyable point of all four. And to show some love to this side of the room, I'm going to stand over here. My name is Randy Wilson. Good evening. I'm from Columbia, South Carolina, where I have the privilege of serving as the Main Street architect for the state of South Carolina. And we have this really nice definition of what it means, kind of the Main Street approach to design, but I am going to let you figure it out for yourself through a very simple crowd participation exercise. Everybody turn to somebody you're beside, look them straight in the eyes. Do it right now. Look at somebody right in the eyes, and with enthusiasm, repeat after me. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. You don't look like me. You don't look like me. You have just figured out the Main Street approach to design. I'm so glad that Marceline, Missouri doesn't look like any other place on the planet. Right? Amen? Can I get an amen? I'm a part-time preacher. You can say amen. Right. And so here's the deal. Marceline, Missouri. There you go. I got a fellow pastor in the room. Give me an amen and a high five. This is the only place on the planet that has the precise assemblage of historic buildings that exist in downtown Marceline, Missouri. We would be remiss to try to turn you into any other place on the planet. What we want to do is capitalize on the best of what you have and you uniquely possess in downtown Marceline. The way we do that is through three things. The first is through physical design improvements. Now let me say this for the record, because if you want to record this right now, you will never ever hear an architect say this. Design is important, but it's not all important. Okay? It requires all those other 3 points to balance you out. But the reason design is important is psychologists tell us that we make assumptions about other people within 3 seconds of meeting them, based on their voice, based on the way they're dressed, based on their body language. We make really quick assessments of people. If we do that for people, don't you think we do that for our towns? And when we see our buildings or our signs or our streetscapes? And so it's important. This is a building I worked on in Conway, South Carolina. This is what it used to look like. And we were blessed to find out that beyond that slipcover resided this wonderful piece of architecture. The news gets better. Through a strategy that we're going to talk to the steering committee about tomorrow, they employed a certain grant approach that allowed the rest of them to come off. You can see this strip of buildings starting with these green awnings. That's that building right here. This tall building is this one, and then here's the 3 tall buildings right here. All 5 of those removed their slipcovers, and look what was hiding underneath. Sometimes it just takes that first person. It took this gentleman taking the risk to peel it off and to see what was behind it, so the others jumped on board. Don't you think that's a pretty radical transformation in downtown? So that's the first thing, is you want to take a look at your physical improvements, but it's not solely about buildings. It's also about your parks and your open spaces, basic beautification and landscaping and flowers and things of that nature. And of course, our goal is to create sidewalks and streetscapes where people hang out. People love to see and people love to be seen, which is another way of being nosy, Bridgette. And so we want to create those opportunities for people to really stick around in our downtowns through design. The other thing we want to do as a design committee, And right now, if you're going to sign up for committees tonight, again, you got to trust me, design committee is by far the funnest. Okay, so just sign up for that one. But some of the things that you would get to do is, first of all, just to give really good sound design advice to people who ask you. And we can provide training and then go out and actually walk the streets. For example, here what we did is we did training about visual displays and storefront windows, how to make our windows in our buildings look better. And then we actually go walk around and give people advice who want to participate in the process. We can provide them with resources. When the city or others start to do, for example, enhancements to Ripley Park, then perhaps the design committee's role is to help do visual preferences surveys about what do we want the benches to look like, what do we want the trees to be, what do we want the fountains to look like. And those are some of the roles that the design committee play, is to get your opinions about those things to help us make really sound design decisions. And the final thing that the Main Street Approach to Design does is, going back to the very first thing I said, is to protect those unique architectural assets that you possess, those historic buildings. And historic preservation is a huge thing because it is the very thing that makes you authentic, and it's also the thing that can stimulate your downtown economy. I love this soft approach to historic preservation. This is Greensburg, Kentucky. We were doing a multi-county branding and tourism plan for Central Kentucky. And when we showed up, this is my partner, and he's the branding guy, and I was the design guy. And we kept waiting around to go on the tour. And we kept waiting, and we kept waiting, and we kept waiting. And they said, just be patient. And eventually, a couple of high school students come up and a couple more. And these kids were the ones that took us around the downtown and told us the stories of the places and the people and the buildings and the historic stories of this place. Now, let me tell you straight up, an adult, one of us grown-ups, we could have probably given a better speech than these kids, but guess what that community has ensured by virtue of these kids doing the tour? They have guaranteed that the stories of the people and the place and the events have been passed down to the next generation, so that what makes this place unique and special is preserved. And there are other tools that we can do to make sure this preservation ethic is transferred from one generation to the other. Now, y'all have been really gracious and listened to us talk, and now it's your turn. So I'm going to turn it over to Norma, who's going to give you the process by which you are going to break up into groups and help us in our 4 points.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. I'm Norma Miess.